This thou hast seen, O Lord. Keep not silence, O Lord, be not far from me. Stir up thyself, and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. Let them not say in their hearts, Ah, so would we have it. Let them not say, We have swallowed him up. Psalm 35:22-25. David shifts from complaint to petition. He appeals to God. This thou hast seen, O Lord. The word this refers to everything David described. The false accusations, the deceitful schemes, and the mocking gestures. God saw it all. The phrase thou hast seen establishes God's awareness. Nothing escapes his notice. David doesn't need to convince God of what happened. God already knows. Keep not silence follows immediately. When God remains silent, it appears he does nothing. It seems he permits injustice. David asks God to speak, to act, and to intervene. The phrase, keep not silence, requests divine action. O Lord, be not far from me, expresses David's need for God's presence. The word far describes distance. David wants God near. He needs God's help now, not later. Verse 23 intensifies the plea. Stir up thyself and awake to my judgment. The phrase stir up thyself uses bold language. David speaks to God as one might address a sleeping person. The word awake continues this metaphor. David knows God doesn't sleep. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121, verse 4. Yet David uses this language to express urgency. He wants immediate action. The phrase, to my judgment, identifies what David wants. The word judgment means vindication or verdict. David asks God to judge his case. Even unto my cause, my God and my Lord, adds emphasis. The word cause refers to a legal case or dispute. David presents his situation as a court matter. He calls God, my God and my Lord, acknowledging God's authority and relationship. Verse 24 states David's request. Judge me, O Lord my God, according to thy righteousness. The word judge means to decide or pronounce a verdict. David asks God to evaluate his case. The phrase, according to thy righteousness, sets the standard. David doesn't ask for judgment according to human opinion or earthly power. He wants God's righteous verdict. God's righteousness guarantees fair judgment. And let them not rejoice over me shows what David fears. His enemies want to celebrate his defeat. They desire to gloat about his downfall. David asks God to prevent this outcome. He doesn't want his enemies to have cause for celebration. Verse 25 continues the petition. Let them not say in their hearts, Ah, so would we have it. The phrase in their hearts describes private thoughts. David knows his enemies will celebrate, even if they don't speak in the open. The expression, Ah, so would we have it, represents the satisfaction of his enemies. They would feel pleased if events turned out as they desired. Let them not say, We have swallowed him up, completes the verse. The phrase swallowed him up describes destruction. The image suggests a beast devouring prey. David's enemies wanted to consume him. They desired his utter ruin. David's appeal rests on God's character. He asked God to act according to divine righteousness, not human justice. David trusts God sees everything. He believes God will judge with divine justice. He knows God can vindicate the innocent and humble the proud. The passage shows the proper response to unjust treatment. David doesn't take revenge, nor does he devise counterplots. He doesn't manipulate circumstances, but he brings his case to God. David asks for divine judgment. He trusts in God's righteousness. Paul instructed believers likewise. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Romans 12:19. Believers must not seek personal revenge. They should trust God to judge. They should give room for God's wrath to operate. David's words teach believers how to pray when facing injustice. They can appeal to God's knowledge and request God's intervention. Believers can ask for vindication and trust that God sees everything and will judge in righteousness. Human courts and judges may err. Evidence may get suppressed. Witnesses may lie. Power often influences the verdict. But God's court never fails. His knowledge is perfect. His judgment is righteous, and his verdicts stand forever.